Hi friends, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Amy from Neurotic Mom Bakes, and I have the most delicious banana bread recipe that I'm going to show you today. I kind of discovered it by accident because my go-to banana bread recipe that I was making a few weeks ago, I was out of a couple ingredients, so I improvised and it ended up tasting even better. So I'm gonna show you this today. First, I'm gonna start with some really ripe bananas, about 3, depending on the size. You're going to need 1 cup of mashed bananas. So I didn't have enough oil. The 2 ingredients that I had some oil, but I didn't have enough, so I used butter. And then I usually put buttermilk or milk in, but I didn't have either of those, so I tried sour cream. And it was, my husband said, this is the best banana bread I've ever had. I'll kind of just mash them a little bit before I turn the mixer on, because otherwise they kind of go flying everywhere. And you can even do this by hand with a fork. I've done that before too. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to measure out a cup of bananas. I'm gonna have leftovers here so if you want to do 1.5 times this recipe or double, totally do that. Okay, so I've got my bananas. I'll set them aside and we'll start with my bread mixture. Okay, so we are going to start with 1.5 cups of sugar, and I have 6 tablespoons of butter softened at room temperature, and then I'm going to measure out 6 tablespoons of oil. Vegetable oil, canola oil will work. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Set the bananas aside for now, and I've got my sugar, butter, and oil mixed up. Going to add 3 eggs. Whoops, supposed to be 1 at a time. It'll be fine. And 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. And once that's all mixed in, then I'm going to measure out 1.5 cups of the mashed bananas. And I had 3 medium-sized bananas, and I think that's gonna be the exact amount I need. Yeah, perfect. Okay, bananas going in. I'm sure you're gonna get that same, scrape them all out. All right, that smells good. Okay, secret ingredient, 3/4 cup of sour cream. Okay, let's stop right there. I'm gonna measure out my dry ingredients. I need 2 1/4 cups of flour. And 2 1/4 cups of flour, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. There's 1. And 1/2. And 3/4 teaspoon of salt. There's a half. 1/4. Okay, don't overmix it. I'm gonna finish by hand. Now you can leave the banana bread as is, just like this, just plain, or I'm going to do 2 variations. I'm gonna add some chopped walnuts to one of the loaves, and then I'm gonna add chocolate chips to the muffins. These work so well for muffins. So to prep my muffin tin, I'm just gonna give it a generous spray of cooking spray. There we go. And then for the pans, I'm gonna get a little bit of oil. Only grease the bottom of these. If you grease the sides, the bread will not rise. So just the bottom, and it comes out just fine. So I like to get a paper towel and I just kind of spread the oil around right into the corners, wipe up the excess. And then I will still, just for insurance, it will come out, I will still spray. And then I'm gonna get a little dusting of flour. And I'm just gonna shake it, make sure it gets into the corners, all around, and then tap out the excess. And so far, I've never had a problem with my banana bread coming out. Okay, so first one I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of finish stirring this by hand. Okay, so this is generally going to fill 1 loaf pan and 12 muffins. You might have enough left over for a mini loaf. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do half the muffins with nuts and half of them with chocolate chips. So I'm just gonna pour about half of this into here. And I'm gonna stir with some chopped walnuts here. And then I have some milk chocolate chips that I'll pour into the rest of this. And just kind of stir them. We need a few more. Okay. I'm gonna fill these about halfway full, maybe a little more than halfway. These rise nicely. These are the ones with the walnuts. An ice cream scoop will work for this too. Slightly, a little bit more than level on the ice if you're scooping it out with an ice cream scoop. Okay, I'm actually gonna have enough left over to do a few more muffins. So this will yield 2 large loaves, like a 9x5 loaf pan, or 1 loaf and about a dozen to a dozen and a half muffins. And I'm gonna combine and do this last batch with chocolate chips and walnuts. Okay, these are going to go in a 350-degree oven. The muffins cook quicker than the loaf will. These, I'm gonna check these at about 16 to 18 minutes, but they can take up to maybe 24 minutes. And then the loaf's gonna take 40 to 55 minutes, just depending on what size the loaf pan is, how full you filled it, and what your oven's like. So let's go in with these. Okay, so my banana bread and my banana muffins are all done. They're all cooled off, and I actually wanted to show you how I wrap and store my banana bread and show you that it stays totally fresh and delicious after it's been in the freezer. So I made these at least a month ago, these loaves of banana bread, and I'm going to show you how I triple wrapped them. So I had them in the baggie, and then I wrapped them, actually let me get this one out, wrapped them in tin foil. And under that, I wrapped them in plastic. Make sure you wait until they are 100% cooled off before you wrap them. And these will stay absolutely, look at that, so soft. I pulled them out of my freezer last night, and I just set them on the counter to let them, I'm gonna cut into this. It's so soft, it's really moist, really fresh. So they will last in the freezer at least a month. I bet these could go 2 more months easily. So, and then I've just got my muffins here. I'm gonna pull out, maybe not that one. Just kind of run my knife around. And let's see if we can, oh, those were the plain ones. No, those have nuts in them. Okay, there's the ones with the walnuts. I wanna try to find one with chocolate chips that will come out easily. There we go. There we go. Yeah, the chocolate chips kind of make them stick a little more. There we go, some chocolate chips in there. Just really, really good for breakfast with some fruit and yogurt. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today, and I hope you'll try it out at home. I'd love to hear feedback, how it works out for you, and I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel. You can also find me on Instagram @NeuroticMom.